Hello, this is Solo P1. Welcome to episode 59 of the Debrief. TOTO Hammer's not here this weekend. Well, he's not here today. He's on holiday, but he should be back in the midweek when we're doing some football reviews. So, today, we're going to talk about Formula One. I know we haven't talked about Formula One on the channel for a while. I know there's a lot of big football fans on the channel, but we remember we was a Formula One channel first. So that's what we want to be our core audience, Formula One. So let's talk about Formula One. The reason why we haven't talked about Formula One is because there's been no Formula One for 3 weeks. I know there's been a lot of news going around Christian Horner getting booted out of Red Bull, which I'm not really bothered about, really. We knew it was going to come. It was just a matter of time before it came. And finally it did. So as I see, it's karma. Karma. But this weekend, we're going to talk about the Spa, one of my favorite Grand Prix of the calendar. Spa, Belgium Grand Prix in Spa. I've actually been to the track a couple of times. I was supposed to put some pictures on. I was meant to do it, but I keep forgetting. I got some pictures when I was at Spa, right by the Rouge, when the car goes up. I was right there. I've been there a couple of times. It's one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. Silverstone is the mecca of racing for me. People say it's Monaco. I tend to disagree because with Silverstone, it was where the first F1 Grand Prix was ever held in 1950. And it was at the British Grand Prix, Silverstone. So for me, Silverstone is the mecca of F1. So enough of that history lesson. Let's talk about the Grand Prix with Spa. Lewis Hamilton. Let's start with Lewis Hamilton. We're going to start with Lewis Hamilton and we're going to end with Lewis Hamilton, shall we say. So Lewis Hamilton, there's a lot of people going around, fans, saying that Lewis Hamilton is finished. I think it's hilarious why people think why they think he's finished. If you go back to McLaren days, let's go back to the McLaren days. When he was at McLaren, you remember when he came in his debut season and he should have won the title if it wasn't for that incident where when he came into the pits and he went onto the gravel. If it weren't for that incident, he would have won the world title. And again, with Rosberg in 2016, when his car blew up, you remember that? A couple of times that season. That wouldn't happen. We'd have been looking at a 10-time world champion now. For me, he's an 8-time world champion. I don't care what the media says. The media can come out as much as they want. They can come out and spout their nonsense. For me, Lewis Hamilton is an 8-time world champion. I don't care what anyone says. So people are saying that Lewis Hamilton is finished. Lewis Hamilton is finished. Why do they say that? Because he's not winning races and he's not qualifying on pole. Now let's just break this down. If you haven't got a car to compete, I don't care who you are. You can be Ayrton Senna, you can be Michael Schumacher, you can be Niki Lauda, you can be Fangio, the granddad himself of Formula One. The godfather of Formula One, I should say, Fangio. If you haven't got the car to compete, that means you are not going to win. You are not going to win. And the fact is, he hasn't got the car to win. Has he lost his driving ability? I don't think so. I don't think so. Lewis Hamilton hasn't lost his driving ability. Because if he did, he wouldn't be driving for Ferrari. They would kick him out. Very simple. So, in my opinion, people just need to relax and just relax because Lewis Hamilton will be back and he will start winning again, in my opinion. So, let's go back. Let's go to another scenario. Michael Schumacher. When Michael Schumacher joined Ferrari back in the day, Ferrari were utter garbage. They were utter garbage. Very simple. They couldn't even qualify in the top 3 or 4. They were garbage. So what Michael Schumacher said, so what I'm going to do is, because remember, but when Michael Schumacher went to Ferrari, he was already a 2-time world champion. He won it with the Benetton. That's what people don't understand. He won it with the Benetton. So he left Benetton and he went to Ferrari, because he went to Ferrari to make Ferrari better again. Exactly what he did. Same thing that what Lewis is doing. Exactly the same. He's going to Ferrari to make Ferrari better again. Now, he walks into a team that hasn't won in a long time. Okay, Ferrari hasn't won anything in a long time. So he's going there, and his partner, his teammate, I should say, Charles Leclerc, has been there for about 7 years. So Charles Leclerc, he knows all the settings. He knows everybody in the pad, everybody in the team. He can speak Italian. He's fluent in Italian, by the way. And his communication with the team is a lot better than Lewis Hamilton's. Lewis Hamilton's communication with the team is still in the infant stage. You remember, Lewis Hamilton has spent most of his career with Mercedes. You remember when he was at McLaren, he was still a Mercedes engine. And then after he left McLaren, he went straight into Mercedes. So he's always had a Mercedes power unit. So he knows how the power unit works. Very simple. He knows how the power unit works. But people want to spin a narrative and say Lewis Hamilton is not good at Ferrari. 4 races into the season, they was already ready to cut his off already. But we move. Lewis Hamilton, I've got faith in Lewis Hamilton. I believe that Lewis Hamilton will come through this. I think he's a far superior driver to most of the people on the grid. For me, he's the best driver on the grid. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about his age. If his eyes were going and his reflexes were going, Ferrari would not have signed him. They know all this before they do the contracts. You think they ain't done all these tests before? They know he's ready. But what it boils down to, this car that they've got, they had high hopes for the car. They did. But it just didn't work out. Now, when next season comes, it's a new concept, new regulations. Everybody starts again. There's rumors coming out the paddocks that Mercedes power unit and Ferrari's power unit looks absolutely top notch for next season, but we'll see. So I'm just going to go through the Grand Prix briefly. Round 13 of the GP. Like I said, in the week, TOTO should be back. I can see the chat room. I'm just going to get through the review and then we'll talk about it after. So, sprint qualifying. Lewis Hamilton had a shot exit. He did from SQ1 with the Ferrari driver in the drop zone. For some reason, he couldn't look. He finished 18th. This was in sprint qualifying. I'm not going to go through practice. Nobody cares about practice. So this was a sprint weekend. That means if you know about sprint weekend, they have a practice 1. See, on a normal weekend, they have a practice 1, practice 2 on a Friday. Saturday, they have a practice 3 and qualifying. And on a Sunday, they have the race. But with the sprint qualifying, it's a lot better, in my opinion. On Friday, you have 1 practice, then a sprint qualifying. That enables you to get into the race, the sprint race. And that will be on a Saturday. And then in the evening, they have the normal qualifying for the race. So I'm just going to go for the sprint qualifying. So the sprint qualifying, Lewis Hamilton, all right, he had a shot exit from SQ1 with the Ferrari driver in the drop zone ahead of the final runs and suffering a high-speed spin. So Lewis Hamilton, again, can't get to grips with his car. It's too sensitive. He said it was too sensitive. He just got to put his foot down on the pedal slightly and it just spins everywhere. Still can't get a hand of it. And like I said on Twitter yesterday, the best thing that will ever happen to that car is you get the car, you drive it out in the middle of nowhere and blow it up. That's all it's good for. Blow the car up, because he's not going to win anything. You might get the occasional good positioning in a race, but when it comes to qualifying overall, the car is dog. You know what I'm going to say. So the results at the end of sprint qualifying, which I've got here somewhere. The results of the sprint qualifying. Let's do the top. I'll do the top. I think let me see this sprint qualifying. I got it here. The sprint qualifying results were Oscar, Piastri, Max Verstappen, and Lando Norris were top three. They were the top three. So basically, after the sprint qualifying, that enables them to go into the race. They were the top three to start off with: Oscar, Max, Lando. That was the top three in sprint qualifying. So when we had the sprint race, Max had a good start, ended up winning the race. It was only 20 laps. No, it was 15 laps. It's not like a normal race with them. It depends on the track. With Silverstone, I think it goes to 65 laps. With Spa, because it's so big, I think it's something like 50 laps. So the sprint qualifying was only 18 laps. No, the sprint race was only 18 laps, and Max Verstappen won that. So when you win the sprint race, I think you get 8 points, something like that. And second was Max, and third was Lando. For me, Max Verstappen is not going to win the world title, and I'm glad. I am glad that he's not going to win the world title. Too many fake F1 fans didn't care about Formula One. These Dutch fans, which I ain't got a problem with Dutch because I love Virgil van Dijk, but a lot of them fans that was toxic back in the day when Max had his run from 2022 upwards, they're all kind of leaving now, which I'm glad. They were just too toxic for the sport. I love Formula One down to the core. It's that and football. I just love it to the bits. I like tennis as well, but Formula One is my go-to sport. When I want to chill and relax and get not relax, but like get excited about stuff, I watch Formula One. Formula One is the sport, the mecca of motorsport. You got all the motorsports in the world. Formula One is at the top. So this is why Toto loves it as well. Toto is going to be a driver, hopefully one day as well. He's studying at college, university. He's going to do it all. He's going to be an engineer. He loves racing, loves karting, loves everything. And good luck to him. So that was the end of sprint qualifying. Let's get into the main qualifying. Now, the qualifying was on Saturday. Whoever gets the top will start the race on pole. So qualifying, I'll just go into Lewis Hamilton again. Lewis Hamilton, again, struggling in qualifying. There was an early drama in Q1. So in qualifying, you got Q1, Q2, Q3. Q3 is at the end. Whoever gets the fastest in Q3, boom, gets the beginning of the race. So there was an early drama in Q1 when our risk at Lewis Hamilton looked like he'd done enough to get through. So Lewis Hamilton went fast, one of the fastest in Q1, and he done it right at the end. But for some reason, the stewards decided to delete his time. So because they deleted his time, he was out in Q1. So if you go out in Q1, you know you're going to be near the back. So Lewis Hamilton's weekend was going from worse to worser. Trust me, it started off crap and it ended up crap by this point. So again, Lewis Hamilton with his interviews at the end. I've got to big up Lewis Hamilton, because if that was me, I'll be in a different mindset. You get me? I'll be in a different mindset. But with Lewis Hamilton, he's calm, collective. He knows he's the best. He knows he hasn't got the car, so he has to work with Ferrari. And the thing about it, I wish when he went to Ferrari, he would have had Bono with him. Pete Bonington, that was his brethren, you get me? That was his kind of his side man. And he didn't go. He decided to start Mercedes, which I think was a mistake by Pete Bonington. I think Pete Bonington should have went to F1. Should have went to Ferrari. But it is what it is. Let's start off with the race now. Quick review on the race. Before I get into the race, remember, guys, smack the like button. Yeah, man, big up to me, yeah? Yeah, I'm doing well. Big up, Jordan. Yeah, man, big up. I might do a football video later, but I don't think there's any news, but it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. If you can find any news, WhatsApp me and then we'll talk about it. So let's get back to the F1. This is my happy place. Lights out of the way we go. 4 laps under a safety car. So the race started, it's 4 laps under a safety car. Because the reason why there was 4 laps under the safety car, because for some reason, all weekend it was a beautiful weather. Sun, sand, not sand, going too far with the sand, but there was sun. There was sun everywhere. As soon as it came to the race day on Sunday, it decided to pour with rain. I remember when I went there a couple of years ago in Spa, it was absolutely beautiful weather. I love Spa. Spa is one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. My 3 favorite tracks on the calendar are Spa, Silverstone, and Suzuka. My 3 favorite tracks. I love them tracks down to the T. So basically, lights out the way we go. 4 laps of the safety car. Hamilton under the safety car. He said to his engineer, you think we should bring on the slicks? So basically, slicks are the dry tires. For people who don't know about Formula One, slicks are the dry tires. So everybody was on the intermediates, which is the wet. It's not the full wets. It's like mid wet. They're like the green color. Basically, you can wear them when it's like wet. But if it's really pouring down, you have to put the full wets on, which is usually the blue color. So everybody was on the intermediate tires, and I think and there was going around on or behind the safety car. We didn't have the traditional boom lights out the way we go. It was under a safety car, because basically the safety car is designed to go around, check if the floor is good to go. You know, if the floor is not too wet. So basically, under the safety car, when the safety car ended, they said it's going to be a rolling start. Basically, a rolling start is you don't go by where you start when you're grid position and go lights out of the way we go and boom. No, a rolling start is if you go around the safety car, you just go like that after the winner, after the guy who got the fastest, which was it Lando Norris. Lando Norris got the fastest, so we started off and the rest was behind him. So that's a rolling start. So we had the rolling start. As soon as we had the rolling start, he made a mistake. Lando Norris made a mistake in the first corner. He had a slight slip on La Source, which is the name of the corner, and he compromised himself. So as soon as he made that slip, he compromised his exit, and then when he went up to the Rouge at the top, Oscar Piastri, his teammate, passed him. Now, for the title is between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. One of them two are going to win the world title. Personally, as a Brit, as a Londoner, I know he's not from London, but as a Brit, I want him to win. Lando Norris. I want him to win because he's British. Oscar Piastri's from Australia, like the kind of Brits. But I want Lando to win because he's a Brit. In Formula One, there's been the most Formula One titles from a different country, from the same country, is Britain. Britain rules Formula One, basically. Second is Germany. So we had a slight slip and it compromises and Oscar took him. By this point, Oscar kind of sped off into the sunset. There was about 4 seconds between them, or 3 seconds between them. Lando looked like he was losing time. But Lando came out on the radio and said, look, we're having battery issues. That's the reason why you're losing time to his teammate. So when they rectified it, the battery issues, Lando was good to go. So under the floor was still wet at this time. It was wet, but under wet you can't have DRS. The DRS is when you got drag reduction system, where you go behind another car, you activate it, and that enables you to pass them. It's like a turbo boost. But by this point, we can't have the DRS because of safety. Once it's too wet, you can't have DRS. So, but not long after, he started to charge back up, like I said, his battery pack. Then he was chasing down his teammate. Lap 7, Lando was catching Piastri because he sorted out his battery issues. So Lando was catching Piastri, and then all of a sudden, his teammate was having battery issues. So the car was playing up for some reason, the battery issues. Lando said the reason why he had battery issues is because he used it too much on the formation lap, which is understandable. Lap 7 with extra downforce. Max Verstappen in this race, he needed more downforce. He knew he's not going to beat McLaren on the straight, but maybe he could beat them in the corners. So if you're in the corners, you need a bigger wing. So we had a bigger wing on his car, putting pressure on Charles, which is in third. So he was chasing down third, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen. I was praying to say that he didn't catch him. Lap 8, Lewis already passed Sainz and Calapizzo. Lap 9, Lewis into 14th already. So he passed 3 cars. This is amazing what Lewis Hamilton, right? in how many laps? In about 3 laps, he passed about 6 cars. 6 cars in 3 laps. Lewis Hamilton, absolutely outstanding. So when everybody said he was finished, when everybody said Lewis Hamilton was finished, he passed about 6 cars in 3 laps. How about that one? In the wet as well. And everybody knows when it comes to the wet, Lewis Hamilton is a master. He's a master at his craft. So lap 9, Lewis went into 14th, passes Hulkenberg in lap 1. And he passed Pierre Gasly as well. Lap 10, Max was trying to catch Leclerc, but it didn't happen again. Leclerc was playing the game, putting his car in the right position so Max couldn't pass him. Lap 11, Leclerc made a slight slip on the source. Max nearly passed him, but still couldn't manage to pass him. So I think Red Bull would have set up their car correctly, in a correct way, and that made the wing too big. I think he probably would have passed Charles Leclerc, but he just couldn't do it. He tried everything he could, but he couldn't do it. Getting frustrated, which I'm happy about as well. And Charles Leclerc just carried on his way. Lewis Hamilton pits. So as the track was started to dry out, it was getting a nice dry. Lewis Hamilton said, let's go in the pits. So Lewis Hamilton went into the pits. He was the first driver to go into the pits. Everybody was on intermediates. And Lewis said, come on, let's go in for some dry tyres. So Lewis Hamilton went in, lap 12, put the medium tyres on. Absolutely amazing. Came out, started to pick up speed. People saw that on their telemetry, on their dashes, and they said, right, we're going to do it. So everybody started to steam into the pits. Lap 13, Oscar pits, Charles, Max, everybody started to pit. So lap 14, Lando's engineer said to him, look, if you want to pit, we can come in and put the hard tyres on. Because what happened is Oscar Piastri, his teammate, had the medium tyres on. And if you have the hard tyres on certain tracks, the hard tyres will last longer because they're thicker. The only thing with the hard tyres is it takes longer to warm up. But with this kind of track and this weather, it's irrelevant. So lap 14, Lando said, why not? Look, we're chasing our teammate. He's still going to come out the pits in second. Let's put the hard tyres on and try, and as the race progresses towards the end, the race will come to you because his tyres will fall off and you've got the hard tyres on. So at this point, I thought, you know what, Lando, put the hard tyres on and you'll have the advantage. You will have the advantage. So Hamilton pitting a lap earlier has put himself into 7th place, right? So he made up 6 places when he was 13th before he went to the pits as well. So he made up even more places. Overall, he made 11 places. So by lap 13, he went from 15th to 7th. That was Lewis Hamilton. And the 6 of them is because he passed them naturally. And the other positions, 8, 9, 10, 11, the other 4, he made up an extra 4 positions because he pitted at the right time. So that was mastercraft by the team, by Lewis Hamilton. And Lewis Hamilton with Ferrari hasn't always had the best relationship. At the beginning of the season, it was a bit rocky because him and his engineer just couldn't click. But this time, it was really good. So by this time, Oscar's engineer says, try to look after your tyres for a one-stop. Oscar said it would be difficult. So for me, at this point, Lando Norris had the advantage. And the reason why he said to look after his tyres is because he knew his teammate had the hard tyres on. So lap 26 saying Oscar pitted, he would just come out in front of Max. So towards the end of the race, Oscar won the race. Oscar won. And Lando Norris was chasing him down for so long. He nearly passed him. I think another 3 more laps, I think he would have passed him. But it just didn't work out for him. So the final results are, if I can bring it up on the screen, these are the final results of the race. They are Oscar Piastri first. And there you go. Oscar Piastri first. Lando Norris 2. Charles Leclerc 3. Max Verstappen 4th. And there you go. George Russell 5th. Alexander Albon 6th. Good race from him. Lewis Hamilton 7th. And Lewis Hamilton got driver of the day, by the way. Got driver of the day. 8th is Liam Lawson. 9th is Gabriel Bortello. 10th is Pierre Gasly. 11th place, Oliver Bierman. Another Brit. 12th, Nico Hülkenberg. 13th, Yuki Tsunoda. 14th, Lance Stroll. 15th, Esteban Ocon. 16th, Kimi Antonelli. 17th, Fernando Alonso. 18th, Carlos Sainz. 19th, Franco Colapinto. And 20th, Isaac Hadjar. So let's look at the teams, how they are. I think McLaren has probably won. I think McLaren has probably won the constructor title at this point. Yeah. I'm not sure. Probably depends. If there's any news, I probably will. I just wanted to do my Formula One today, but if there's any news, breaking news, I probably will. So these are constructors' title: McLaren, 560 points, second place, 240 at Ferrari, Mercedes, 220. Red Bull Racing, fourth place, 192. Look at them, Red Bull. There you go, in fourth place. It's a brilliant sight. Fifth place, Williams. Sixth place, Sauber. So the Williams have got 70 points. Sauber's got 43, and seventh place, Racing Bulls with 41. Aston Martin, 36 points in eighth place. In ninth place, Haas with 35, and Alpine in 10th. And the reason I'm reading this out is because this goes on audio as well. This goes on the Spotify and iTunes. Remember, guys, remember to recommend it to your friends as well on iTunes and Spotify. So these are the drivers. These are more interesting, I probably think, for us anyway. So, Oscar Piastri, first place is 266. His teammate, 150. Yeah, man, look at the drivers' titles between them two. That's it. It's between them two. Third place, Max Verstappen. Fourth place, George Russell. Fifth place, Charles Leclerc. Sixth, George Russell's got 100. So basically, go for the top. Oscar Piastri, 266 points, second place. First place, I mean. Lando Norris in second place with 250. Max Verstappen in third place with 185. Fourth place, George Russell with 157. Fifth place, Charles Leclerc with 139. Sixth place, Lewis Hamilton in 109. Seventh place, Kimi Antonelli in seventh place with a 63. Eighth place, Alexander Albon with 54. In ninth place, Nico Hülkenberg with 37 points. 10th place, Esteban Ocon with 27 points. And 11th place, Isaac Hadjar with 22 points. In 12th place, Pierre Gasly with 20 points. I reckon this is his last season. He's done in Formula One, Gasly. 13th place, Lance Stroll with 20 points. And 14th place, Liam Lawson with 16 points. 15th place, Fernando Alonso with 16. 16 points, Carlos Sainz with 16 points. 17th place with Yuki Tsunoda with Red Bull Racing with 10 points. 18th place, Oliver Bierman with 8 points. And 19th place, Gabriel Bortolelli with 6 points. And 20 points, Franco Colapinto, 0, and 0 points for Jack Doohan. So that's it then. That's the end of the weekend review of the Spa Grand Prix. I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Big up to Maya, big up to Jordan, big up to everyone, big up to you, CJ. And like I said, I'll see what happens. If there's any news, let me know on my DMs. You got me on WhatsApp and X. Just let me know there if there's any news. And if there is, I will break it today. But today it's about Formula One. And that's it. Big up to everyone. See you later, guys and girls, whoever's watching. Big up to everybody. This is Solo P1 Sunday Night. This is the F1 2025. This is the F1 2025 Debrief, episode 59, round 13, Belgium weekend GP review. See you later, guys. Bye.